All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Menina Chow. I'm part of the SAP community, and it's my pleasure to have you here with us on this SAP community call. Before we get started, just a real quick housekeeping notes. I see there are questions already posted, so you can really submit them during the presentation. We will definitely spare some time at the end to get to them. Satish Ilu is with me today. He is product manager for SAP AI Business Services and quite known to the SAP community calls. He already has been conducting one. So the recent topic that he was talking about was predict missing master data and transactional data using SAP AI Business Services. So if you missed that, you can, of course, re-watch this. We have all recordings available under community.sap.com /resources/community-calls, which is where you can find all presentations and replays, including this one later on. Yes, you are here now to watch and listen in to how to consume SAP AI Business Services using cloud integration content. And we'll focus on SAP Cloud Integration content predefined packages for SAP AI Business Services and how they can be consumed. But I'm, of course, not going deeper into this topic and really now handing it over to the expert, Satish. Welcome, and you can take it on.
Thank you, Menina. Hello, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining the call, for taking time to join this call live, and look forward to interacting with you in the questions at the end. So today's agenda is how do we consume AI business services using cloud integration content. So these are standard disclaimer. If we make some forward-looking statements or anything, if you don't want to be recorded, please exit now. So this is the agenda for today. So we'll quickly look at the introduction of AI Business Services because all of you may or may not be familiar with AI Business Services. Then we'll look at a very brief look at the integration, cloud integration, and what are these packages. And then we'll dive into the services on how we have built cloud integration content for our services, business entity recognition, document information extraction, and data recommendation. So at the end, we will have 15 to 20 minutes for questions. So yeah, we have plenty of time, so we'll try to optimize the time as we can. All right, let's get started. So AI Business Services. So most of you would have seen this slide. So this is something SAP's vision for the intelligent enterprise. And our vision to deliver the intelligent enterprise is to have a solid technology platform. And this is where business technology platform comes into the picture. And today's topics is going to be based around BTP, is a short form that you see all over the place. It stands for Business Technology Platform. And AI Business Services fall under the category or the technology layer of intelligent technologies. And we have many of these services like document information extraction, classification, service ticket intelligence, BER, and other things, right? All of these are collectively called AI Business Services. Also, other topic that we will cover today is also part of a cloud platform, business technology platform, and that one falls under application development and integration. Yeah, so that is where it falls under. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the service, AI Business Services, AI Business Services are reusable services that are based on AI, and they can be easily consumed using REST APIs, and you can make them as part of an existing process or create new business processes based on these services. And the whole idea of having a business service is basically, make sure you can actually get more value from your existing processes, and you can reduce the manual effort in your existing tasks. And the fundamental difference between a business service and a technical service is the business services are always targeted or based on a particular business scenario. What we mean by that is, imagine if you look at a technical service like image classification service, right? You give an image, it will tell what is an image. There is no context around that, where that fits in, right? So that is like a technical service, or giving text and translating that. So that's a technical service, right? So these are all many technical services that you see in AI around, offered by us or competitors, right? But when you come to business services, they are actually geared towards a specific business scenario or a process, and they aim to solve that business specific situation. So that is why they're called business services. And these are all the business services that we have today. We have a collection of services that we group under business document processing. And all of these under business document processing are geared towards extracting information or processing text within a document, or even classifying those, right? So these are aimed at working with documents, because in enterprises, right, most of the things we deal with are with a lot of documents. And so that's why these are all grouped under business document processing. Besides that, we also have three more services. Data attribute recommendation, and this service is actually aimed at more on predicting missing values, or maintenance of when you're maintaining values, predicting those values, right? And IOR is invoice raw object recognition. So this one is more around predicting the I would say the GL accounts and cost centers and things like that. And service ticket intelligence is more around classifying tickets in a service, a customer service kind of a scenario. So these are all the services. And what we will do in the next sections is look at how we will use cloud platform integration with some of these services. A brief introduction to cloud integration now. So currently, if you look at the branding, right, cloud integration is part of SAP Integration Suite. So if you see the term, where do I find it? So these are all the four pillars that are in cloud integration suite, right? Cloud integration, integration advisor, API management, and open connectors. And what we are going to talk about today, or the service that we talk about today, are more around cloud integration. So what is cloud integration? Cloud integration is it's something that's been offered by SAP for a very long time. And we had on-prem solutions, we had cloud solutions, right, for a very long time. Just the branding has been slightly changing now and then, right? But overall, cloud integration helps you work with on-prem systems, or the cloud-to-cloud integration, or you could do integration with an application, application to application, or business to business, business to government. So these kind of things, right? Any scenario where you're trying to work with another system, or another application, or a third party system that is not in your landscape, then you could use something like a cloud integration solution, which can do I would say the broker bit. It acts as a broker between them, and translate them as needed, and you could do lots of fun things with it, right? So that is the core purpose of cloud integration. And we also have this is completely based on cloud technology, and we also have OData APIs for many of them. uh, for customers to actually consume and adopt innovation faster, we provide something called prepackaged content. So this is the key part of our presentation today. And prepackaged content is something like think of it like a starter kit for you, right? You can take this prepackaged content and then configure it for your landscape, so that you can start using that right away. Instead of you waiting or trying to build your entire integration flow by yourself. So these are nothing but integration flows developed by SAP, and by the application providers within SAP as well, right? Whoever supports that application. And then we maintain those as well, right? So you can take them and deploy them in your landscape as part of your account, and then configure them so that it works for your scenarios. So that's what we look in the demo as well. And of course, we have an ecosystem of this where you can actually, build these, and you can consume the other parts as well. Right? So this is where cloud integration comes into the picture. Now, in terms of content, right, we have over 2,000 plus pre-built integrations that are fully maintained and updated by SAP. So when we say maintained and updated, so they are basically whenever a new release is some changes happen on the application side or on the package side, SAP teams actually work on that and they keep them up to date. That is what they mean. And they can continuously test with the latest versions. So that is what is this 2,000 plus integrations. So today we're not going to look at all of them, and we'll focus primarily on these three integration packages. Integration packages like one for document information extraction, that is to work with an email, and other one is data attribute recommendation, and the third one is with business entity recognition. Excuse me. Let's start with the first one, with the business entity recognition. So for people who are not familiar with business entity recognition, the whole idea of a business entity recognition service is to actually read a piece of text or a document or an email, whatever it is, right? And then identify the business entities in it. When we say business entities, you can think of these as things that are very, very important, and those are contextual related to a business, right? For example, it could be like invoice numbers or currencies, right? Or or purchase order numbers, or any of these things. And the whole idea with this is basically, how do we actually identify these business entities in a piece of text? The use case is like this, right? Imagine, you get an email telling that, hey, can you give me a status of the purchase order? Now, what somebody has to do is somebody has to open the email and then read the email, and then, okay, now the person is asking about this particular purchase order, and then they go into that, they copy that number, then go into the system and do all of that. But what we could do is we could actually take this entire email and actually pass it to a service like business entity recognition, and then this will actually parse the entire email and looks at the entire text and says, okay, it's based on machine learning and artificial intelligence. It tells that, okay, these are the business entities that actually I can think of. And then based on the training it already has, it will tell that, okay, there's an invoice, I find 2 invoice numbers, or I find purchase order numbers, and this is an invoice number, or this is an address, things like that, right? It will give that information. And now it's up to you how you take that and use it. So that is the purpose of this service. Now, coming to why did we even create this package, right? Cloud integration package. So the reason we created this is, if you look at the typical business processes, many of these things are automated in a way, right? And to consume any of these services, our AI business services are available as an API, REST API. And REST APIs can be called using a UI, if you have some UI, or people use all kinds of services like Postman clients, right, to do that. But we can't really do this in a real-time business scenario, right? So this is why we want to actually, and also the other gap is, somebody manually goes into a customer service mailbox and they would read the email and respond. So these are all disjoint parts now, and a lot of manual effort involved. And so to reduce that, what we said is, okay, what if we can bring in something like cloud integration, which can actually monitor the mailbox, then take that email, extract that entities, and then give it back as an email, right? And now it's up to the business process how you want to handle that email that comes out of it, because we also give you the JSON, and then you take the JSON, and then it's up to you if you want to use a bot like intelligent, or we have intelligent robotic process automation. You could use our IRPA solution to take that information, and then you go into the backend system and then get the status and then send an email back. So all of this you can structure it in the cloud integration yourself, in combination with some of these solutions. So that is the whole idea and rationale for us to create a business package around this. And the benefit for this is, it automates the entire part, and also we kind of eliminate a lot of manual effort, and nobody has to really go in and open something manual and check things. And you make it as part of your existing process. You can schedule it to run at regular intervals, and it's kind of like automated complete thing. And if something doesn't work, if something fails, in cloud integration has capabilities to actually fallback options as well. If something doesn't work, it sends an email and things like that, right? You could do all of those things as part of this process. Now, having said that, so this is how the architecture looks like. So this is a typical customer, right? A customer sends an email and a PDF or other formats as an email, and it comes to enterprise mailbox. Now, what's happening on the cloud integration side is, cloud integration keeps monitoring this enterprise mailbox, and polling, right? Polling for emails if there are new emails or not. And now once a new email comes in, then it reads that email, and then it makes a call to our service business, and it parses that using the BER service, and then the business integration service, it processes this and gives the output. And once the output comes in, then cloud integration picks it up and then again sends the extracted information as an email. We also attach a JSON. Again, the reason we left it here, again sending it as an email, is because we want to give that flexibility for you to take this package and build on top of this, right? That is the whole idea. This is like your, I would say your starter kit, right? As I said, right? For you to start using the innovation in a faster pace. So this is a high-level architecture, and it looks pretty similar for the other ones as well. So let's go into the. I'll actually show this on the, and this is where this is the kind of thing that you see on the API Business Hub. I will actually show a quick demo of API Business Hub in the end, right? All you need to go into API Business Hub, and this is how you see fetch emails from email server to business integration. This is what you'll see under integration flows. Now let's get into the demo, right? So we actually recorded this demo just for the sake of easiness, because there are some moving parts here, because we have to check emails and everything. So apologies for that. I really wanted to do a live demo. I prefer doing live demos, but for the sake of easy simplicity and in the time we have in 20 to 25 minutes, we did a recorded demo. So hope you guys don't mind. So what you're seeing is actually Cloud Integration Cockpit. And in the Cloud Integration Cockpit, you find this package. So you take the package, related for the business entity recognition. And you can see all these things like artifacts, and the documents will tell what to do with that, right? So you take the artifact, and now you can actually configure or deploy it, right? So first thing you want to do is you configure it, what you want to do, right? So here you have the details that you need to put regarding the sender and then the receiver, right? So where the data is coming from and where the receiver details are. So you fill in all these parameter information, and also you put in the BER related information, and then you basically deploy this, right? Again, first step is, of course, you're deploying this, right? I was just talking through the same thing, right? So once you deploy that information, then it gets available. This becomes available for you in the deployed content. Now you go into this integration content cockpit, and now you can see that has been deployed successfully. Now it's successfully deployed, and now it's started, right? Now we send this email with this information, like somebody pasted a text, there's an invoice information, and now we send that email, right? After we send this email to our monitored inbox, now what's happening behind the scenes is this is being monitored by this thing. So you see the Gmail, this email has got it. And now if we go back to our cockpit, or where we see the messages, right? You see the flows, the messages are being monitored, and we got one message that's being processed now. And now if I open that and see the message, right, I will see that, okay, this has been completed, and it took about 9 seconds for processing that, because it's calling our BR service in the background. And you can see the message ID and all sorts of things, right? And it also shows what has been triggered at the end, right? And at the end, this is what it actually sends out. So it was able to identify the vendor name, the vendor address, invoice number, buyer name, and all of these. So if I go back to the actual email that we sent, right? So I'll just go back to the email that we sent. So that you can see what we actually sent. Let me just go back to this. I think it's here in the middle. Yeah, you can see here, right? So you see the logo corp. This is the information here, and you see the invoice number, and you see the items and all of that, right? Now, if I come all the way to the end, right, you see the same logo corp and vendor address, invoice number. You can see all of this information. So, and also we also get a confidence next to it, right? When you say confidence, this is basically how much confidence the machine learning or the AI algorithm has for this particular prediction. So vendor name, it's about 80% accuracy, and the vendor address, 90% accuracy. And you see all of them, right? For the date, it's like 100% accuracy, right? Or I would say the confidence level. So based on this, we also give a JSON, right? You can actually take this and use it the way you want. Again, this up to you to build on it. So this is the first demo. Now let's look into the second integration package. So this one is around document information extraction. So this one is slightly similar to BR. So the difference between the one before and now is that so BR, or business entity recognition, is primarily aimed at reading a piece of text. It could be an email, or it could be in a document that is extracted. So it needs text, and it takes the text and it extracts entities out of that and entity values. So that is the fundamental purpose of business entity recognition. But when you come to document information extraction, as the title itself says, it's working with documents. So it can take a document and then digitizes that, and then gives you all of that information, what is on the document. For example, if you give an invoice, it will take that and give you all that information. So here is what exactly what's happening, right? So let's say you're an AP clerk and you send this invoice, and you see you have contact information, your information, line items and all of that, right? So what this service does is it takes this invoice and it actually gives you like a nice JSON with all this enrichment information, right? Like what the company name is and all of this, right? So this is, and it also can handle multiple pages and all sorts of things. So that's the beauty of it, right? And the use case for this is essentially, let's say you're getting, instead of the same email that you got in the previous as a text, imagine they just send as an attachment of an invoice. Now somebody has to open the email and also open the invoice and then look at the PDF and then do this. But if you actually send it to the document information extraction, this can process the whole thing. So that is where the need for cloud integration package comes in, because for something to, like you're getting all these kinds of documents via email in enterprise inboxes, and you don't know, first of all, you don't know what the document is. And you also want, after you get the document, then, you don't want to spend time reading that. So this is a big market gap or a challenge that many enterprises face. And this is where, we come up with this service, where we could actually eliminate this manual effort, because with cloud integration, we can actually automate this entire flow end to end, where again, it monitors the email inbox, and then picks up that email and then extract the document out of it, and then does the OCR and then extract this information, and then gives you all the clean JSON with all that information in, So that is what this does. So it's kind of like, I would say, a variant of what has done in BR, but this is working with, I would say, documents, that is the main difference. Now, the architecture is also pretty similar. It's no different from the other one. You have a customer or someone else, sending emails, and you have an enterprise email inbox, and the cloud integration actually, pulls the emails, and then, after it pulls emails, whenever something new comes in, it actually picks it up and then processes that using document information extraction. And then, then again, we're sending this back again. This is up to you what you want to do after this step. You could send it an application, you could do it, work with send it to a web service. It's up to you, right? Because cloud integration has all these beautiful capabilities that lets you do a lot of things. Excuse me. So this is how you would search for this in the cloud integration in the API Business Hub. You see that fetch emails in document information extraction. We'll show it there. I'll anyways open up at the end and show this information, right? Now, again, this is the demo, right? So here, for sake of simplicity, we are removed the first part. Now here you can see the invoice is actually part of this. And you can see the invoice is like, has all this information, like, it's in German. We also support multiple languages, right? So this email is now sent to this particular inbox. And now you can see we have got this email in the inbox. And now behind the scenes, cloud integration is actually, this is actually already started. We deployed this and it's running already. Now, when I refresh it, and I need to go into the, the management place, right, where I see the message monitoring aspects, right? So now if I come into here, it can see that it has taken about 40 seconds. And the reason it took us slightly longer is because docs is a heavy, document information extraction is a heavy service. And, and it can take some time to process that, right? So this is the output that has come up, right? You can see we have a response in the JSON as well. And this is sent to the email, right? You can see the currency code, you can see the tax name, tax amount, all of this information. Now, if we go back to the actual thing, right, you can see this all in German, right? And but also we are able to process that, and you can see all of these line items and everything. And at the end, right, you get all of that. You see that? You see all the values and everything in a nice JSON. And the currency code, you also get the confidence next to it. So based on this confidence level, you can actually take a decision what to do with it, or you can, take the JSON and actually give it another application as well. So that is the short demo of this one. So the third one we like to quickly touch upon is cloud integration for data item recommendation. So data item recommendation service is like a Swiss Army knife. It can do a lot of things. So the fundamental purpose of it is to predict missing values, right? Let's say you have master data entries that come in from a system and you don't have certain entries in it. We can actually pass in like 5 or 6 fields and predict the remaining ones, So that's what it can do. Or let's say you're getting transaction data, like you get a sales order from a end customer and it doesn't have certain attributes in it, or it is missing some items in it. Then we could, based on historical data, we can actually train the algorithm using the data recommendation service, and then we can predict that information. So that is what this service does. It has a lot of capabilities, like we could do classifications. We provide multiple templates in this. A template is nothing but depending on the kind of problem you're working with, you could choose to, like, let's say you are trying to work with a hierarchical data and you want to predict a hierarchy, then you could use a hierarchical template. We have automated AutoML template as well. So again, we're not going to go into the details of the service, but the idea is it provides you a lot of capabilities for you to basically predict missing fields, either in master data or transactional data. And now the use case for this is, similar to other cases as well. You have many scenarios where we get information from the third-party systems, and that has to be processed, right? So the idea is, let's say you're getting, your sales orders from a third-party system, and now, that is missing information. Now, what happens is somebody in a customer service area looks at that in the cockpit and then tries to process them. Now, what if you could actually automate the whole process, right? And you already have your ERP data sitting in another system, and you want to use that data to train a model, right? So these kind of various gaps, right? And continuously, you also want to train these things as well, right? Continuous training as well. So that's why we have come up with a package for data recommendation that actually seamlessly does the first part, right? You could actually, do the model training for it. You could actually do the retraining for the model, and actually you can set up the entire pipeline so that you can actually do the training part of it, and the inference part you can just leave it to the other part. And of course you can also use cloud integration for the inference as well. It's up to you how you manage that, right? But if you look at the workflow, right, typically the data flow with data recommendation, the first step is usually we upload the training data, because each of the services are different, right? And for data recommendation, you need to actually train a machine learning model for this, because this is not like a out of the box service like document information extraction, where you send a document and it can extract information, right? So this one requires a training with your historical data. So you upload the training data here, and once you upload the training data, you need to specify certain things like dataset schema and all of this, right? So this is where you put in a file storage, and then you train using the model, and then you deploy the model, right? So these are steps involved with data recommendation, and this is where we actually use cloud platform integration to do these first three steps, for uploading the data, for training the model, and deploying the model. Because if you don't have an automated process, you would use something like Postman to do this uploading manually, uploading and training this, or manually calling all of these, right? And nobody wants to do manual work, even if it's doing once in a month, or in once in a quarter. Because in enterprise we want to have everything automated, so that you can track if it's working and all of these kind of things, right? So this is where we have created three iFlows for this integration flows under this package. And when you deploy this package, you get all these three, right? For you to create a data set and upload the data set, which is tied to this first part. And the second one is to create the data set schema, where you actually how do you create that JSON? You basically create the upload the JSON file. And the other one is creating the job for training and deploying the model. So all of these are basically used for this. So in interest of time, we're not going to go into the demo for this one. But what we'll do is I'll actually show the API Business Hub how it looks. So let me quickly change the screen that I'm sharing quickly to the other one. So, okay, I'm sharing the right one. Okay, so this is API Business Hub, and you can go to api.sap.com to see this. And I mean, some of you may be on the old interface, right? So you see, if you probably have used to seeing this is the old interface, and we've actually revamped the whole interface. This is like the old interface, whichever you're comfortable, right? I'm just going to use the new one because it's much nice and cool, right? But yeah, you can actually drill down here. But now here you can search by product, right? So all you need to do is AI Business Services. And if I search for AI Business Services, you get a lot of things. You get APIs as well as integration packages. If you can go under integrations, and this is where you see the integrations, right? And you see all of these. For example, I look at BER, the email server. When I click on this, it actually opens up this, right? And we have a lot of information, when this was published and all sorts of things, right? And you can download these things as well, right? If you log in, and it will give you an option to do a lot more things as well. But under this, what we also have is I can click on this integration package. Then it will actually, right now it's authenticating me using my single sign-on, right? So that you can see how the whole thing looks like, right? So here is where you have all these things, right? The packages, right? Just you take. So this is how the integration flow looks like, right? So you're extracting the email, setting the parameters, right? And then posting the invoice, right? This is where you're again triggering another section where it does this. So what we're providing with this is essentially you don't have to do all these development anymore, right? Because all you need to focus on is you just configure these parameters, and it does all of this part. We have done all the development and we manage it for you, right? All you need to do is deploy this. So this is where the document also we provide on the documentation how to use this. So this is pretty detailed in this, right? So we have, I mean, like for our thing, we have actually even put in very nice screenshots, right? How they look like. Like each of the sections, how it starts with, right, where you need to enter credentials for interacting with cloud platform, and sections where you need to configure the email addresses, and what are the other ones, because these are all the options that are provided by the iFlow, right? And so all the configurations, and if you have any issues, right, and this is where you would create, right? This is very, very important, because when you have an issue, most of the times it goes into the wrong place, right? So this is where you have this ticket information as well. So you can raise a ticket so that our team can actually jump in and support the team, right? So that is a short, I would say, glimpse of the integration content and how this looks. So let me come back to the presentation. Then let me just share this. I think we are almost 25 minutes into the call, or I would say 30 minutes into the call. Right, so I think we're almost done. So, okay, oops, sorry. So this we just looked at. Now, in terms of, okay, before you even raise the ticket, what you could do is we have a very strong SAP community behind this, right? So you'll anyways get a copy of this deck. We'll also post this video. So we have, dedicated, tags and, topics related for each of these services. So you can post your questions here. We'll be, product managers like myself and my team, or our teams will look at these and answer. And so this is a very good place, because many times you send emails and people don't respond, because community is where we actually try to answer most of the questions, and it's a very vibrant place. You have all the blogs as well, and regarding all AI business services as well. So I highly recommend you actually check this community place and post your questions there, so that we can actually help you. So with that said, I think we are about half past the meeting, so I think we'll open it up for questions.
Thank you, Satish. You really ran through it, but was very valuable content, and I hope the audience also found it valuable. Yeah, we also already have one question that was posted in Q&A. But before we get started, I just would like to remind everyone that you can still submit questions, but if you would like to speak up, there should be a button where you can raise your hand and we can unmute you. Meanwhile, let's start with the first question raised by Vinod. Do you see it, Satish?
I'm trying to, because it was I was sharing. I just
Oh yes.
yeah,
The Q&A window.
Q&A
It
window
says, can
hidden.
we send scanned image or OCR to this? I think it's about the business entity recognition service, and get the details.
Good question. So BR service is not meant to be working with documents. The reason is that we have document information extraction that does the exact same thing. So you could send it to document information extraction that takes images and as well as PDF documents, and then gets the text out of it. And if because if you look at our document information extraction service, it works with payment advisors and invoices, right? But if there is, let's say you have certain email that is in a PDF format, or some other document that you don't have it in a certain format, then it won't be able to give that confidence. What you could do is you could do another OCR service, or you could try to use that and get that information, then pass it to BR service. So it's not meant to be like for OCR. Yeah, at least BR is more to work with directly with the text document or all of that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Any questions? We have 10 more minutes. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yeah, I mean, we are here. So in the meantime, maybe we will open up the community. I'll show you where you can actually like open up and watch it, right? SAP community. If any questions come in, you could, I see a lot of questions. These are all, oh, you already posted the links. Okay, good. That's very good. Yeah.
Yeah, but feel free. You can share your screen, and maybe in the one or other person is not familiar with how to post
so
questions.
This is where you basically, this is where calls will be posted. The replays will come in like here, right? After the session is done. And you can look at, if you're looking for more information, right? So you could, you could scroll down and see, for example, I'm searching for myself, right? So this is the one I did in early March. So this one is more about document, data recommendation. But if you want to look at other ones, my colleague Thomas has done this. Thomas has done a dedicated session on business document processing. So this would be a good session for the question asked by Vinod, right? You could actually check this thing. You'll get good information on working with all these three services. Yeah, I think we have two more questions. Okay, so I'm seeing the second question by Prashant. It says, Prashant, okay, it was nice information. IRPA also integrates multiple AI services and also cloud integration. Any advantages of using non-SAP applications? Okay, also integrates with multiple AI and also cloud integration. Okay, so there are two things here. One is, it depends on your workflow, right? Because IRPA, as you said, you're very right. IRP also out of the box provides a lot of capabilities for stitching up a process. So the reason we are giving cloud integration is, let's say you are working with, IRP is very new, right? And if you look at it, IRP is the last 2 to 3 years we have seen, and IRP is an evolving product as well. But many times we have, like, let's say you're getting in a certain format that is not supported in IRP, or because IRP is not really meant to do integration kind of things. It does not provide you all the capabilities that cloud integration provides, like monitoring the messages, the logs, and all of that, because this is very, very important, like when you're working with emails, kinds of things, right? So it depends on the process of a company, right? So you get a lot of advantages when you use cloud integration, and that's the advantage you get. And any advantages of using non-SAP applications? I'm not sure what you mean by any advantages. It can work with non-SAP applications for sure, because it doesn't matter, right? Like, the service doesn't matter. Cloud integration supports SAP non-SAP integrations, and our service, the AI Business Services, you know, doesn't have any relation to SAP at all. It can be used in any other things as well. So I did not get your second part of the question. Maybe you can clarify that. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now I see that integrating non-SAP applications with AI Business Services. Absolutely, yeah. I think that's perfectly fine, and it works well. You don't have any issues. So if you already have a non-SAP application, and that non-SAP application can consume the AI Business Service, can accept REST APIs. The key part is, if they can accept REST APIs, you can directly call from there. You don't really need cloud integration in that context. So cloud integration is only important where you want to automate the entire flow and you want to use cloud integration. But if the third-party application users can consume these non-SAP applications, can consume the REST API directly, then I think it's absolutely fine. You don't have to do that. Yeah. Okay. Now, next question: can you explain a bit more about the confidence level? This is asked by Gyan and others as well. So the confidence level is basically it's information coming from the AI Business Service, and what it tells is, based on the historical data it's been trained with, how much of confidence it has for the result it has predicted. For example, if you look at the currency that it predicted, right, in the demo that we just showed, it says that, okay, one, if it says one, it's 100% confident that is what it knows. But if, let's say, it's 60%, then the answer is, it can only tell with 60% confidence that that particular invoice number is that. In that cases, you need to handle that, because it could be because it's not trained well on that, right? In that kind of cases, you may need to look at what is the reason for that. Because if you look at some of these things, you can also retrain with your existing documents as well. Document, data attribute recommendation provides all these options for you to actually train your own data. So then you look at the model accuracy. So we also, after you train a machine learning model, we also give you model metrics. Model metrics provide you how much of model accuracy is there. Like, for example, we provide the F1 score and all sorts of things. Based on that, you get a good sense of how the data looks like. But let's say if you give something that is not, it has not seen in the past, then it obviously will fail. It will give you low confidence. So this is where you want to handle that on application level. That's why you provide the confidence with the result as well. Okay, now, does the confidence level mean the statistics? I think it's it's basically the confidence with which the result, it thinks the result is, how much of confidence it has on the result, the algorithm, right, or the service. Okay, next question is by Vinod. Adapt tool from IBM services Vim invoices from SAP and enriches it using machine learning, using the historical and master data sent to adapt. It also sends back the details with confidence level. Can this AI business from SAP evolve to provide the same functionality? Okay. Firstly, I'm not familiar with adapt tools, so apologies for that. I'm not an IBM person. But you're right. Vendor invoice management is a typical scenario, right? And it can definitely, because there are many competing solutions like document information extraction in the market that provide similar functionality, which process invoices and extract information. And our goal actually is to actually more focus on the things we handle today. And in fact, this is already used in many of our services, our internal S4HANA, or if you look at Concur processes millions of invoices. That the service running behind is basically document information extraction for them, right? So that is why it should work fine. Again, unless it's in a different format. So again, if there is a certain thing it doesn't work, it could be because of the format is different. Again, all of this will tell. So we also, I'm not a document information extraction expert because I'm not the product manager for that, but I have a fair idea of the whole thing. So you can watch this session by Thomas. Thomas that goes deep into this and talks about because there are a lot of exciting features and templating concept there, where even if it is not in the right format, it can actually do templating concept. So he talks about, Dr. Thomas talks about all of these aspects. So I highly encourage you to check this out. Maybe that will give you a good insight on how to do that. Yeah. Good. Thank you for asking these questions. Very, very, interactive. I'm very glad you asked some good questions. Any questions? We'll be here for a few more minutes. Feel free to ask. In the meantime, I can just show you around. So this is where you look at that, and you can go into the topics. So you can just even search for like AI Business Services. So we have a topic under this. So this one gives you like a full customer view, a 360-degree view of in the community of AI Business Services, right? You can look at our roadmap. You can explore all the tutorials, right? You can look at our community calls that we have done recently, and you get getting started resources. So we also give you how to consume. You see how we can do the, like we have demos as well if you're a partner and everything, right? So I mean, you can see the references. So it's like everything, right? We also have podcast. We have videos. So if I were to bookmark one page, this one is what I would bookmark. I think maybe So this will give you all every information, right? And yeah, we are always here. We keep answering the questions here. We can ask a question by clicking here. You can ask a question here, and it'll actually and we keep answering these questions. So pretty one of us actually answers, right? So yeah, that's the tour of community. I think Minena knows this more than me. Anything to add, Minena?
No, nothing to add. This was perfect. Thank you, Satish. With that, I would say let's close the recording. And if one or other questions still pop up, feel free to raise them until we are still around. But so far, thank you very much, Satish, for your time, for your dedication here, presentation, demo, and also thank you to the audience.
Thank you everyone for joining. It's been a pleasure to have you in this call, and thank you for all the time and all the good questions that you asked. So if any question, feel free to ask in the communities and we'll be happy to answer. Thank you. Bye-bye.